Hi friends, I thought we could do a quick printmaking activity together with items you might have at home. So what you'll need for this is a white sheet of paper, some aluminum foil, it doesn't have to be a lot, some glue, it could be a glue stick, some pieces of cardboard, water, could be in a sponge, could be a washcloth, and a spray bottle, just something to get our paper wet. Some washable markers, and scissors. I went ahead and I cut out a small square for me to glue everything on. It doesn't have to be a square for you, it could be a circle, it could be a rectangle. And I thought I would do a shamrock for the month of March, but you could draw and cut out whatever you like. Maybe it's a pollinator, or a living or non-living thing, a flower, whatever. So, because we're cutting these things out, we want to make sure that we're drawing shapes. Remember, you can cut out shapes. You can't cut out line. You can only cut on a line. So I went ahead and I pre-drew some shapes that I plan on cutting out. I don't know if you can see that. So I drew out a stem for my shamrock and one leaf. And you're probably wondering why I just did one, but I'll show you why in just a minute. We're going to use that to get the other two. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut these out. Before I cut them out, some easier way to cut from a larger sheet of paper or cardboard is to cut a bubble around it, and that way you just get that extra stuff out of the way, and then you can go in and cut your items out. Right, see how much easier that is when we get all that extra cardboard out of the way? One item. I'm gonna go and cut out my first shamrock petal or leaf. Using one hand to turn and the other hand to cut. Okay, now that I have my first shape, if I want it to be the exact same size and shape, I'm going to use this as a stencil. I'm going to go ahead and trace it 2 other times. And one more. Okay. Same size and shape, and all I had to do was trace. These out. Now in a moment here, I'm going to start to lay out my composition. Remember, composition is how you lay or arrange items on a sheet of paper. Or in this case, cardboard. Okay, so I have everything I need. I have my petals, I have my stem. It's not in frame here. I have my petals and my stem. Now I'm going to start to glue these items down. Again, start to lay out my composition. Do I want it in the center? Maybe I want it off to the side. I think just for this activity, I do want it in the center, but that's not always the case. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this upside down. There we go. When you glue, whether it's squeeze glue or a glue stick, you want to make sure that you concentrate your glue around the edges and not just the middle. And right here. I'm not too worried about the glue seeping out on the outside. It will dry pretty quickly. Go ahead and trace along the outside. Okay. And last time. Okay. Notice I'm putting a little bit of space in between each petal. I am not gluing my shamrock shapes close together so they're touching. Now I'm going to glue my stem. I can already tell that my stem is going to go off the sheet of cardboard, so I think I might trim that a little bit. But that's okay, I kind of like that it goes off. All right, I could leave it like that. But now we're going to talk a little bit about filling our composition and negative space. This area around the shamrock is called negative space because there's nothing in that area. Oftentimes, artists like to balance the amount of negative space and positive space to make it look like a complete composition. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to draw some organic shapes. Organic shapes are shapes that don't have a name. They almost look like paint splatters, don't they? Last one on this sheet since I ran out of room. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. Just to break up that empty space around my shamrock. Again, you notice how I cut the bubbles around each shape to make it easier to cut. This shape that I'm cutting out reminds me of a jelly bean. And, all right, maybe I'll glue one. I'm just gonna look for the big areas of negative space. I'm gonna fill that in here, one on the other side, and one below. Now I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna cut that stem that we were talking about that was hanging off. Perfect. Okay, this is my composition. I'm going to take my aluminum foil, I'm going to lay that down first. I'm going to turn my piece of cardboard with my shamrock on it upside down so it is facing the foil. And then I'm going to take the aluminum foil and fold it on the back. Turn it over. This is when the back of your pencil might come in handy, or you can even use the tip as long as it's not sharp. You might even want to go in with your finger first and just kind of see if you can get your shapes to appear. And I'm going to go in now with the back of the pencil. You don't want to press too hard. You can, in fact, poke a hole through the foil if you're not careful. I'm going to go in between each shamrock shape. Go around my organic shapes. Around one right here. Some of the smaller areas I'm literally just going in with my fingernail. Okay. Can you kind of see that? Now comes the part where you're going to color it. I think I am going to color this shamrock, not green, but complementary colors. So the first complementary colors I'm going to grab are green and red. And I forgot this red doesn't come out. Here we go. I'm going to do half the shamrock red and half of it green. Since I have my green out, I think I might make the stem green. All right, let's see. You know the complementary color to purple? You're right, yellow. Go ahead. Color it in. Might go back and color the purple just a little bit more. Okay. And the complementary color to blue is orange. Okay, I can't forget about my organic shapes. I'm going to pick a color that I did not use a lot of, so that won't be green. I'll do the three primaries: red, yellow, and blue. Let's see if that red comes out. Yellow. Blue. I am in fact going to go over that red with a different shade of red. All right, now I'm going to take this aside. I have it all colored in, and now we're going to dampen our white sheet of paper. Now I'm spraying it, and I don't want the water to be resting on top of the paper. I still see like clumps of water, so I'm actually going to get some of that extra water off with a cloth. And I got to work quickly, because although you don't want your paper really, really wet, you still want it damp. And I actually think I might have brought too much up. So I'm going to concentrate it right in the center where I think my square is going to go. Okay. Okay, so you're going to take your printing square. Once you place it down, you can't move it again. And go. All right. At this point, I'm going to press with my fingers, making sure not to move it around the sheet of paper, every section. You want to apply some pressure. I'm getting the edges. I'm getting in the center where I know my shamrock is. Get around the outside where my organic shapes were placed. Now you can print this over and over again on other sheets of paper with different colors. You can make a pattern. Okay, I think I got it enough. I pressed down every inch of this square. Okay, and lift. And there is my shamrock, my printed shamrock. And you can now have this square to print as many times as you want.